I'm Adrian, and we are playing Budget Izzet Delver today, and I think we will keep this hand. It looks pretty decent. I mean, it obviously doesn't have any spells in it, which is a problem, but we do have a bunch of creatures. We may be able to cast Delver this turn and hopefully flip him next turn. And, I mean, if our opponent is playing something that'll destroy a bunch of our stuff, we have backups. So let's fire this off. We're waiting for our opponent. Faithless Looting. So our opponent is probably playing Dredge. We're about to find out. I mean, depending on what he pitches into his graveyard, it would be a pretty telling sign. It is not Dredge. Okay. Not quite sure what our opponent is playing, but we will play around it, whatever it is. I think we're just going to throw Delver down first turn? Yeah, might as well. So pay 1 life and get some blue on the table, and then we will ship it to our opponent. So our opponent is playing just a regular swamp. Well, it's technically a foil swamp, I guess. Lingering Souls out of the graveyard. Okay. And it is back to our turn. We are going to see if Delver flips. I'm going to say yes, because I don't know what card it was on Island. Where did I even see that? Okay, I'll have to pay more attention to that. I've never actually played this deck on MTGO, and the reveal thing is a little bit strange to me, so what is this? The revealed zone. Okay, so it would have been right here. I'm going to leave this open, so next time we don't just flash an island to our opponent. It is our main phase. We will not attack in with Delver, because their opponent will just block. But I do think we will get a young Pyromancer onto the table, because next turn we will... well, next turn if we don't actually flip, Delver Secrets will cast Faithless Looting and, filter some cards and get some elementals onto the table. And pass it to our opponent as well. And our opponent plays another Faithless Looting. We'll see what they pitch away. Oh, they actually pitched another Faithless Looting. And, what is this guy? Woodfall Primus. Okay, I think I have an idea kind of what this is going on here. This is definitely not something you generally see in the top 8 kind of area, I don't think. And we have a Delver of Secrets on top of our deck. It's right there, as you can see. So, no, I don't want to reveal it. I will draw him, though. And what do we do here? We're not going to swing in again, because Young Pyromancer will get its face beat up a little bit. I think we'll just drop another Shivan Reef. And we will cast ourselves a Faithless Looting and see what do we have. Yes, we're going to get a trigger from that. And we have a messed up elemental, that's funny. And let's see what we got. What do we got? We're going to draw 2 cards and then pitch away 2 cards. Waiting for our opponent. So we have a Lightning Bolt and an Electrolyze. Electrolyze could easily take out those 2 spirits for us. Lightning Bolt's always good. I think what we're going to do is we're going to pitch away one of our Nivmagus. And what else? I don't think we need this other island at the moment. I know obviously we're going to be paying a bunch of life whenever using these, but I think that's better than having an extra land in play, because we don't really need it. We can run off of 3 lands quite effectively. So we're going to do that. So we are going to play another Delver. And we are going to play, let Delver resolve. And then we're going to play another Nivmagus, or play a Nivmagus, not another, I should say. And then we're going to ship it to our opponent's turn, and see what our opponent thinks of our board state, because we are, without them knowing, obviously, next turn we're going to get rid of both of their spirits. So unless they have a response to put more stuff on the table, which I can, I mean, they have 3 lands, they got to have some kind of options coming up. We'll see what they come up with. Our opponent's playing Grotto. He's probably going to be targeting the Woodfall. What does this guy do? When he enters the battlefield, destroy target non-creature permanent. And it has Persist. We could have used that land that we destroyed, which is a little bit annoying, but that's okay. So he's gonna He's gonna swing in and do a bunch of damage. Or what's the long-term plan for him other than just swinging with a 6/6? Is that it? Is he somehow loop? Oh, he comes back. He's going to destroy another land. Okay. So he's going to burn away a whole bunch of our land, right now. I'm guessing his deck also has a bunch of blink effects, and he's just going to be blinking this guy and basically getting rid of all of our land. Which is completely possible. Obviously, Electrolyze is not very effective for us right now, which is okay. And what are we revealing? What is on top of our library? It is Gigadrowse. Yes, we're going to reveal that and flip both of our Delvers. And then, okay, revealing Gigadrowse again. And yes, we will reveal that to our opponent. So now we have 2 flipped Delvers. Not 100% sure how our opponent feels about dealing with that. I think the best plan right now, because we obviously can't cast Gigadrowse or Electrolyze, is to swing in with just our 2 insects. If our opponent gets cheeky and decides he's going to block 2 of them with his with the spirits, then we will we'll hold this guy for chump blocking as well. Then we'll lightning bolt one of them, just so we don't lose either of them, and we'll pass it to block steps. We'll see what our opponent does. If our opponent, again, as I said, if our opponent decides he's going to try and double block one of our Delvers, just so they can't, just to kill one of them, which he's doing right here, we're going to respond by lightning bolting one of them. Because again, this guy's going to be pounding us for 5, but we're going to be pounding him for 6. Plus we have a bunch of chump blockers, which we can totally use to absorb some of this 5 damage. Again, my guess is that he's going to be blinking this guy, so that is kind of what I think is going to happen. We're going to find out, though. Okay, let's see what our opponent does. This is an interesting match. I don't think I've ever seen this deck I'm playing against before, so it is kind of a new experience to me. I kind of wonder what we need to be bringing in. Faithless Looting again, okay. Oh, he's casting it out of his graveyard. I kind of wonder what we need to be bringing in against this. Obviously, our graveyard destruction would be really handy, because you know, then he's losing a bunch of his value from his creatures. So that's something to keep in mind. He is running a ton of non-basics, so we could potentially bring in Crumble to Dust. I don't really think it's that actual handy. It's probably better for us to keep on the plan we're currently on, rather than kind of go for the, like, how do we destroy his lands? Lightning Axe. Discarding something, okay. So he is going to take out one of our Delvers, which is annoying for us, but not the end of the world. And he is probably going to swing in with his big guy. He is not. Okay. I kind of wonder, maybe it would be better if he swung in, if I sacked, or if I like literally used all of these guys to block him and got him destroyed. I wonder if that's a good plan against this guy. I'm not too sure at this moment. So we have a Gigadrowse. So we could technically tap this guy down and swing in for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or 7. 8? No, we could swing in for 8. Let's do that. That sounds pretty rad. We'll even just cast it right now, because we don't really have a reason to wait. I didn't realize it automatically added one to the thing. Because Gigadrowse is a big replicate, right? That's the reason why we have it. Or if we had like 4 islands right now, we would just pay 4 and then put them all onto Nivmagus. So we need to say 0. You guys can't see this because it's underneath my logo, but it's basically saying, hey, pay a whole bunch of extra mana to replicate it a whole bunch of times. And we'll let that resolve. Tapping down our opponent's creature, and then we will swing in with everything. We'll literally just, everything goes to attack. And yeah, that'll be a little bit of damage for our opponent. He can feel good about that, I think. I assume he'll feel good about that. I mean, I would personally feel very good about having a ton of creatures swing in and do a whole bunch of damage to me. Lies, that's what that is. That's totally lies. Okay, what is our opponent going to do now? He has a variety of options in his graveyard, specifically Faithless Looting. But if he has another Goro's Vengeance, is it Goro's Vengeance? Or Footsteps of Goyo, whatever. I was wrong, this card. Then he can probably start exiling my stuff again, because he's going to grab his Ashnet Rider. Grabbing my Delver. Which is unfortunate for me. Also unfortunate because we don't actually have... our opponent's obviously going to attack in. Oh, no, he's not. Why didn't he attack in? I guess he's scared that I have something up? What? I don't know. Oh, but when Ashen Rider dies, he gets to exile another thing, so there goes my Young Pyromancer. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, we got Spreading Seas, which we could technically use to cut him off of a little bit of stuff. Like, what can we have? So he has 2 of everything. We're not going to be attacking in, so we may as well just throw some kibosh down on our opponent. Fingers crossed we draw a land, because that would be really helpful, because then we could get Electrolyze next turn. But obviously that's not the best thing we would want. Serum Visions will work. Again, we need to hold on to another turn until we can actually really use it. So we'll pass it to our opponent. I'm guessing this deck that we're playing against, though, I will say, has some kind of like infinite win condition or something like that. It doesn't seem like relying on playing Footsteps of the Godo, whatever that name is, doesn't strike me as like a really effective game plan. I mean, there's technically should only be 4 of them in the deck, so maybe less. Okay, there's another Lightning Axe. So it just doesn't strike me as the best game plan out there for winning. I mean, especially because he's not swinging in with this guy. So I'm assuming he's waiting for something else that I don't know of. We got another mountain. So what is our options here? We can Serum Visions and hopefully draw into something better, which is probably the best bet at this point. I think Electrolyzing for 2 to his face. We have another Serum Visions, and we have an island. Well, I don't really want the island, so you can go on the bottom. Do I want the other Serum Visions? I may as well put the Serum Visions on top of my library. We're still a few damage short of being able to kill our opponent, like outright. But I think we're just going to attack with all of our elementals. And he's obviously going to block one of them. But I think we might be able to outrace him on this front. So we'll get 2 damage in now. We can do 3 damage here, plus another 2. So we may be able to burn him out. Obviously, we know we have a Serum Visions on top of our library, so that's not the most handy, but it's not the end of the world at the same time. So we'll see. We will see. And what does our opponent play? Faithless Looting. You know what we're going to do? We are going to, in response, we are just going to bolt our opponent's face, putting him within another bolt range. Fingers crossed we draw a bolt with our Serum Visions. That's a pretty small chance of that. I just want to throw it there because we have 2 bolts in our graveyard already. So there's that, but it is not outside the realm of possibility. So our opponent throws a bunch more stuff into their graveyard. There's no reason for our opponent not to attack other than the fact that we can swing in for lethal if he did attack. And I think we have our opponent here. We don't have any buff spells, so there's no reason to play Serum Visions on our main step. So let's go straight to combat, swinging in. And we'll let our opponent figure out if he's going to block or not. Obviously, he has to, or he has to respond with something. Otherwise, he loses. So, sure. And then we will just Electrolyze our opponent's face. Yeah, 2 damage to our opponent. 2 damage to our opponent's face with Electrolyze. And I'm assuming he will scoop from this, because that is technically match. Or not match, game. Yeah, okay, we won this one. We are going to the sideboard, and we need to figure out something to deal with that big frickin' guy, which is very painful for this deck to deal with. We know that his deck relies on graveyard stuff, so Tormod's Crypt would be fantastic. What do we have? We also have Negate, which would be just straight up counter magic for his super duper Footsteps of Guatomato guy. We could also technically throw in Dispels and slow down his like dredge mechanic that he's kind of got going on. Not dredge mechanic, sorry. His filter card mechanic. He's using a ton of Faithless Lootings and stuff. It wouldn't slow him down a ton, but it would slow him down a little bit. Pyroplasm's not worth it. Gutshot's not worth it. We can take out... What can we take out? Honestly, I don't think we need the Electrolyzes. Those are really more for dealing with small creatures. Obviously, they won us the game this round, but that is not really the best strategy for us. I'll leave the 2 Spreading Seas in, even though I normally would take them out. Vapor Snag is really good. I think if we would have drawn one of those, it would have been fantastic. But I think we can actually take out one of the Gigadrowse as well. So I think that's what we're going to run back. I keep saying I think a lot because I think a lot. Okay, game numero 2. We think we will keep this hand. We have Delver on top, which is good. We could actually potentially counter his stuff right away. Because a few things, again, obviously having Counterspell. This guy's obviously, this spell's generally good to help flip Delver. Our opponent is going to pitch something out of our hand, probably going to be the Condescend. I don't see why he wouldn't. Even though Spreading Seas may be a pain in his butt as well, so he may grab Spreading Seas. It's not like this is like the most amazing opening hand, so I don't think it's going to be very easy for our opponent to choose what to take out of here. Obviously, Delver would be probably his first choice, but he can't choose Delver with Duress, so yeah. Okay, that's a good idea for him, getting rid of the counter spell. And what do we got? Oh, we got a second island, which is very good. We will play one of our islands and play our Delver, and we will ship it back to our opponent, because that is all we're going to be doing this turn. And then we will see how next turn plays out. So he plays a Blood Crypt, pays 2 life for it as well, which will help us a little bit, just a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit. Weird. I don't know what happened there. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's not important. It is our turn again. Oh no, he lightning axed our Delver. Sorry guys. Why didn't I see that? I immediately saw that as soon as I actually looked at my board. So I think in response to him lightning axing our Delver, we will Spreading Seas, just to be nice, because it's Christmas and all, his Blood Crypt. So now he only has 1 black mana symbol and a blue mana symbol. And we get to draw a card from that. Vapor Snag, which is something we definitely want. Because it will potentially allow us to push stuff back to his hand, rather than specifically that giant guy that I don't remember his name that he played last time that made our life a little bit painful. So this guy, this Woodfall, I saw it right here, now I see this. Like, frick off. This is not a good day for us. Okay. Anyways, we're going to put this back in this guy's hand right away. He's going to obviously blow away our Shivan Reef. Kind of limits our mana a little bit. That's pretty good play on his part. I mean, turn 3, dropping that guy is pretty cool. I'll give him that. Despite the fact that it's annoying, it's pretty cool. So he's going to blow up our island. He's obviously not going to play this guy. But thankfully we have 3 lands in our hand. So that is definitely a good thing. We'll play an island, and then we'll Vapor Snag this guy back to our opponent's hand. See how he feels about that. It's kind of annoying. It's actually like he's playing like, it seems like a land destruction deck, but it's like a indirect land destruction deck. It's kind of weird, actually. But kind of scarily amount of effective as well. Scarily being a new word. I'm sure it's a real word. I don't know. I'm not a linguistic. I don't really know those kind of things. And what does our opponent do? Lingering Souls. That's a good card to play. It's one of my favorite cards, actually. Just sees a lot of play, and I understand why. I mean, it has a lot of good utility, especially when I'm like looking around at stuff. I'm like, oh, this is actually a pretty good one. So, what are our options for next turn? We could play an island, Gigadrowse his beginning of his turn, tapping down either his spirits, which I don't really want to do, or we could. I think what we're actually going to do is we're just going to play Condescend on whatever thing he casts next turn, for 1 obviously, and we'll scry 2, so we'll at least be able to set up our top of our deck a little bit and hopefully get out of this kind of situation we're in right now. And our opponent is attacking with both of his spirits. We could have tapped them down, but I'm not really too concerned about them right now. So we'll see if our opponent does anything. So he is casting something. He is casting Lingering Souls out of his graveyard for 2, which is fine. We'll make our opponent pay a little bit more mana. Obviously, this is not going to stop him from playing Lingering Souls, but he will have to tap 1 more mana. He obviously has an island that he has no use for, so he may as well play that. He doesn't, so that means he doesn't have anything useful in his hand, I guess, such as a bolt. Okay, that's cool. And we have Nivmagus and an Lightning Bolt. Sure, we'll put you on top, and then we'll put Nivmagus on top of you. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. We're back in the game. We will be able to get Nivmagus onto the table, and then we're probably going to just Gigadrowse the heck out of him, which will make him very difficult for our opponent to deal with unless our opponent decides he's going to Lingering Souls him, which is completely possible. We are playing against a white, so our opponent Lingering Souls him. Yes. No. So we're going to play right away here Nivmagus and for just 1 blue. And hopefully our opponent doesn't have a Path to Exile, because that would make our life painful. And I think we're just going to ship it back to our opponent's turn and see what they do. Again, if our opponent has Path, that'll make us have a kind of a bad day. Mind you, his setup seems like he wouldn't want to be running Path, because he's relying on bringing back that one guy to constantly, oh, he's in his graveyard now, this is fun, to basically destroy lands from his opponent. So playing a Path to Exile basically gives his opponent more lands, which can help his opponent equalize. So we may actually be able to swing in with Nivmagus and do an absolute ton amount of damage. Yeah, responding to that. And we will tap... Might as well tap down our opponent's stuff. And we will replicate it 1 time. When you cast this, it uses a trigger, which then creates a new card. Okay, so learning, guys. We're learning how to deal with stuff. Okay, so we are using Nivmagus to exile a single Gigadrowse. Yeah, so we're using Nivmagus to exile this guy. And then we're going to use Nivmagus again to exile this guy. So much clicking to get just tokens. Okay. And then our opponent's going to blow up our island because we have a lightning bolt on top of our library, which we need red mana for, and we have a mountain in our hand. This deck would be a really big pain in the butt to play against if we didn't have a whole bunch of land in our hand. I will say that, like, straight out. Yes. So let's go to our turn. Obviously, this guy dies, persists, comes back, is super annoying, but it is our turn. I think we are going to go to combat. We're just going to attack with our Elemental. See what our opponent does. He's probably just going to chump block. That seems like the best bet for him. I'm guessing. Otherwise, he's taking 5 damage, which may or may not be risky. He's obviously not going to block with this guy because it'll die, unless he has another Footsteps, which I don't think he does because he has already pulled 2, which seems very lucky. So obviously, yeah, chump blocking. And we will ship it to our opponent's turn, and hopefully he doesn't mess with us too much. Well, we're going to play in response to that. Might as well put 3 on our opponent's face. Just so our opponent doesn't actually get to use the duress. So, a little bit of damage to our opponent. A little bit preemptive. We were kind of holding on to Lightning Bolt just in case we needed it for something else. But it's better to get it out of the way now rather than lose it to duress. It's kind of clearly an obvious play, if you didn't pick up on that. And our opponent is playing Lingering Souls again, out of the graveyard. Okay, so this is, well, we're in a hairy situation. I'll give them that. We are, definitely not winning this one at this exact point because of this guy. And our opponent playing more Lingering Souls. Remember the time I said Lingering Souls was awesome? This is why. It's just like, because you basically can cast it twice, and it's so good. So good. I need to build a deck that utilizes Lingering Souls, is what needs to happen. I guess you could really build anything. I mean, I could just build like an Abzan mid-range deck and, you know, throw Lingering Souls in there. So, that's possible. Our opponent is swinging in with a bunch of spirits. Going to do 3 damage to us. This is quickly turning into a grindy game. Again, I don't know why he's not swinging in with his woodland guy. He knows I have no hand. He knows nothing. Or he knows I have no hand. So he knows that I'm not going to be doing anything special. Magma Jet. Yeah. So we will go on the attack. See what our opponent decides to do here. So here's a question. He may be blocking this way because... So 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. So I can... we're going to die with this guy no matter what. Damage here, here, here. Oh, cast into sorceries. Yeah, we're just going to go like this. I don't think we're going to win this one, guys, so we will see what's on top of our library. Hopefully it will fix our situation. We're also almost out of time as well. I need to stop talking and start doing. You can go on the bottom of the library. You can go on the top. Yeah, we're done with casting instant sorceries. We lose a bunch of stuff, which is fine. And we'll pass it to our opponent's turn. And fingers crossed that he doesn't get all crazy on us. He does get crazy on us by casting more Lingering Souls. Beginning of combat, we aren't doing anything because we don't have any response. Our opponent swings in for 1,000,000 with a million spirits, and then we will be going to go to our turn. We only have a lightning bolt on top, so our opponent's obviously got this one. And we will scoop because there's no point in us just burning away the time on this one when we know we may be able to win next game. So we're going to concede this one. And what can we put in? We don't have anything that does permanent removal out of our opponent's deck. I put in Tormod's Crypt, which would be really handy to grab, but we didn't grab it. Serum Rejection is not really good. Dispel, again, Lingering Souls is a sorcery, so it's not going to help us there. Gigadrowse wasn't super effective. We could actually take out another Gigadrowse. And I'm almost thinking that those Pyroplasms that I didn't want to put in seem really good right now because he's just piling on the Lingering Souls. And what do we think? Yeah, Izzet Charm can stay in, Young Pyromancer can stay in, Magma Jet can stay. Magma Jet can go out. And we're going to submit it like that. Fingers crossed. Okay, game 3. I would like to play first, and we are going to have to play very fast. We can keep this hand for sure. We're going to want to open up some graveyards here because our opponent is playing stuff that goes into the graveyard, along with the revealing hand thing that we need to do with Delver of Secrets. Okay, ship it to our opponent. We're going to have to play the fastest I have ever played before in my life. We reveal the Delver of Secrets. No, we don't want to reveal it because it's another Delver of Secrets. We could. We're going to go like this. And we're going to hopefully Condescend whatever he plays next turn. Which I'm hoping is one of his filtering spells. Because that would be really good for us to totally blow out of his hand. So he plays another mountain. Or a mountain, I should say, not just another mountain. He plays a mountain. 2 mana to do what? Yeah, I will Condescend that. Paying 1. And what do we want? We have another Delver of Secrets on top, so we're going to put both of these on the bottom of our library because we would rather flip our Delver of Secrets potentially than hang on. Our main step, we want to see what is on top of our library. It is a... What is it? What do we got on top of our library? It is a Serum Visions. We will reveal it. We will flip our Delver. We will go to combat. Attack in... letting our opponent deal with 3 damage to the face. Shivan Reef, followed up by a Serum Visions. And what do we got? We can put on the bottom, put on top. And we will play another Delver for 1 damage. And play... Oops. Yep. And play you for the red mana we have floating. And ship it to our opponent. Okay, we have 1 minute left, guys. I'm sorry, I need to learn to just play faster. I'm kind of a little bit of a socialite when I play, which I am totally guilty of. When I do a lot of play testing for these decks, I tend to like chat a lot as well. So, Footsteps of the Goro guy. That's not fun for us. But we know we're going to be going over top of him with Delver. So I think this isn't going to actually help him that much. Yeah, so he's going to blow away another one of our lands. Doesn't really matter what. Probably be an island. He probably thinks that our islands are more useful to us, which I guess technically they are, but we have one in our hand. It is our turn. Yes, we want to reveal. And yes, we are going to reveal Pyroplasm. Flipping both of our Delver of Secrets. And attack with both of them. No point in attacking with Nivmagus because he'll just die. And blocker step, he obviously has nothing to block with. We will throw down an island and ship it to our opponent's turn. No point in Pyroplasming yet. These are kind of dead cards in our hands right now. And we may not actually even get to the point where they are not dead cards in our hand. Actually, we could totally just pass these off to Nivmagus. I don't know why we didn't actually do that. Well, I mean, there's the fact that he just played 2 of those guys, which may be rough for us. Okay, our turn. 2 damage target creature. What do we think? What do we think? I think it's gonna be... what do I think? I think it's gonna be 2 damage to target creature. Actually, you don't attack. I don't have enough time! I don't have enough time! Cast instant sorceries. 2 damage target creature. You. Pay for it. And I lost on time. I'm sorry for that, guys. I need to learn a little to play a little bit faster, but you know, we were doing pretty good on this match. At least we won 1, we lost 1. It could be better. I'll work on being faster for sure. Anyhow, this has been Giant Monster Games. I hope you guys enjoyed this match. It was interesting to say the least. This deck we played against was very strange. Anyways, until next time, I'm Adrian. This has been Budget Izzet Delver. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to Giant Monster Games because this is Giant Monster Games. And don't forget to game like a giant monster.